Hello to everybody in Empires and Puzzles land. This is 3KO Games and the Fated Summons here in March 2024, just refreshed. We have 20 new heroes to choose from if you have 100 summons that you've done that have not landed a 5-star. The leak was correct that appeared, a week or two ago. It's not that exciting. But you know what? I think no matter how long you've been playing the game, maybe there's somebody in here that fits some kind of hole in your roster. Or at least, if you're sitting on 100 pulls already, you should at least grab another hero for soul exchange fodder, right? If you haven't been playing the game that long or your roster isn't that developed, maybe there are some people here that are useful. So let's talk through the list and see exactly who they put up. Time after time, that first row is all just Season 1. And honestly, there's no reason to really talk about those heroes or to grab any of them. These are the heroes that come along as accidental pulls, or if you're grabbing legendary heroes in the hero summon, you might land one of these sometimes. Lots of other ways. I guess unless you have costumes already that you really love and you want to, level up a second copy of any one of these people, there's really no reason to deal with that first row. Second row all deals with 2017, 2017, 2017, 2017, 2017 heroes of the month. And they've all received costumes since then. And still don't make them that playable. And these are all without costumes. So as you click on, you're going to see this costume bonus sign, but you don't get that costume or that bonus. So don't be misled there. But anyway, let's just talk about him quick. Aries, 5-star paladin. That is a fire hero. He was a tough hero for a while. And I think the costume makes him a little bit more playable. You might consider him if your red Titan team isn't very strong. Because caster and nearby allies, not the whole team, but caster and nearby, get plus 54% attack, plus 36% critical chance for 4 turns. Then you get a little bit of a heal for caster and nearby, and all fire allies plus 15% attack and plus 15% defense for 6 turns. Again, if something is lacking in your red Titan team, and especially you don't have critical chance up or a good attack up, might be interesting. And just having this one character on your team is going to land a little bit of mana generation to you. So there's Aries. Let me skip over Albi for a second. Athena's costume is much better and is interesting because the costume does regular defense down and elemental defense down. This does defense down, 41% defense down, and increasing if they are hit for 4 turns, and then deals extra damage against fire. So that's something, but it's not giving extra damage against fire for all characters because it's a defense down. It's just her hit itself. It also gives ice allies plus 15% attack and plus 15% defense for 6 turns. Oh, and the hit itself, splash damage, 305 to the target and minor to nearby enemies. If you do not have a solid defense down character in blue, or have her costume and really like it and want another copy, she could be useful. Even the regular, if you are lacking, especially defense down on the Titan team, you might consider Athena. That is the same. Musashi, I just wouldn't consider. Splash damage, 332 to the target and minor to nearby. Heals himself of dealt normal damage for 5 turns, and gives a little bit of the same plus attack and defense for 6 turns for all other holy allies. Feel like if you've been playing this game for a little while, you have a better yellow hitter somewhere, and the little bit of heal to himself doesn't make him that much more desirable. Thoth Amoon also has a costume that you don't get. Fast speed, 280% damage to the target and nearby, and a minion with 25% HP. Not the weakest minion, but not the best here. Summons for caster and nearby, and then gives it a little extra mana generation for all dark allies. Again, if you've been playing the game for a while, you probably have a much better purple hitter, regardless of the minion that doesn't do too much. I skipped over Albi because I think the consideration here is between Albi and Mother North. They both, of course, have costumes, and they both, of course, are revivers. It's a toss-up without their costume. I actually don't have either of them, so I assume over the next couple months, I'm gonna have a couple fated summon pulls, and eventually we'll take one of these revivers. With the strength of a lot of the meta heroes these days, some of your heroes are just going to die, and possibly having a reviver around, even not in rush, is a good idea. And of course, the rush meta for a long time was bringing one of these revivers and bringing Kalo. So Albi the original Albi is a 33% chance to revive, which is only a third of the time. But you get revived with 23% HP and regenerate 612 HP over 4 turns, and get a little bit of mana over 4 turns. So those other plus points are strong with Albi. With Mother North, she recovers 30% health for all allies, and then does the 50% chance to revive. So you get a 50-50 chance to revive. But if you revive, that health recovery has already happened, and then you're sitting there with 10% HP. Now, in Rush War, sometimes all it takes is to revive somebody once and their mana is there. It is ready, is at full charge, and they just need to hit one more time and wipe some more people out. But long term, maybe you would rather have Albi, who only revives a third of the time, but when they revive, they start with a little bit more health and gain a little bit more health and mana. that's the toss-up there between Mother North and Albi, the two revivers that are here. If you don't have a reviver, the rush attack meta has kind of moved on from that. I'm still at the level that's kind of what I've been running. I don't love my rush attack defense, but I just have Heimdall that I grabbed, I think, from the last Fated Summon, or maybe 2 Fated Summons ago. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting. Okay, this third row has a couple interesting characters. Captain Kestrel, I just don't think is all that good. Fast speed, 215 damage to target and nearby. But this is with max power preview. With it off, stats are super low. So 215, because you're not really going to double limit break this guy. The more mana the enemies have, the more damage they'll receive, up to 335%. But even 335% with that attack stat is not that much, and you probably just have better red hitters. Was he available in a different Fated summon? Because I think I took him and then just fed him away in Soul Exchange. Yeah. I mean, that's the reality on this. Like, my first pick last Fated summon was Frida for the elemental defense down and the buff dispel. She's still sitting at 1/1. I haven't leveled her at all yet. And then I chose Frigg because I don't really have another strong defense down in green. I'm still using Buddy on Titans. But she's still sitting unleveled. I have other green heroes that I've been working on. So, anybody you take might just be sitting there for a while. But again, if nothing more than for Soul Exchange fodder, might as well. Let's look at the rest of this row. Lady Locke. You don't see her played that much, but, if you can get around the fact that her damage starts low and then increases, 1420 over 4 turns for target nearby is not bad. And then a cleanse status ailments from all allies, not bad. Of course, I'm really excited about using Shay Jing. She's at LB1 right now, and she does, over 3 turns, 1119 poison damage to 3. So this is one more turn, and, just a little bit more. Of course, with it starting low and increasing, there's more of a chance with Lady Locke that this just gets dispelled. That's the thing, or cleansed, I should say. So there's Lady Locke. Interesting green damage over time hero. If you've got the patience to use that, most likely on offense where it's not going to get cleansed away. King Arthur. If you do not have Frida or whatever, and need an elemental defense down for your Titan team, could be a good choice. A viewer on my last Fated Summon video pointed out to me, just using Nordry, he's cheap to limit break or even double limit break, and you're going to get just about the same thing. That's true. If you get King Arthur to 370 and you don't want to spend the mats, you might have at least gotten his, his special skill, his talents, maxed all the way. And then maybe you like to use him. I don't know. Target gets negative 39% attack. Target gets negative 54% defense against ice. So there's that elemental. And then the caster gets 74% plus 74% defense against special skills for 4 turns. Possible Titan hero if you need something in blue. Guinevere was the queen a long time ago of a very coveted tank because it reduces mana of all enemies, and at that point 612 HP over 4 turns was an okay heal. It is not boosted, and she does no damage other than that. So I don't know if you got Li Zhu or Li Zhu costume. At this point, I think most people have the costume, or at least the original Li Zhu is pretty easy to pull. You're still going to get that mana cut and a mana stop. If you a silence, if you have one of her costumes, makes her maybe more usable and not as costly to spend all the mats to level a 5-star hero up. So that's Guinevere. Don't really recommend. Guardian Panther is somebody that I'm considering. Defense down against Dark, I use Sergei, which is actually 54% defense down against Dark as well, but only 3 turns, and then it's a charge hero, so you get to the second one and it does something else. So, could be useful against Titans for sure. And depending upon how developed your purple bench is, she hits fast, and she dispels buffs from target and nearby. She could still be a useful hero. And then this final row is not that exciting. Not that excited about Santa at slow speed. Attack down, defense down, and does damage to all, but at slow speed it's just not that interesting. I already talked about Mother North. Master Lepus I grabbed a couple years ago with the costume, and I was so excited, but then I just never had the Druid emblems to really level him up, and then by the time they were available, he was just kind of outclassed. Splash damage, 410 to the target and minor to nearby at fast speed. And then, like all these Springvale family heroes, something bad happens. So he gets defense down for 3 turns. He hits okay if you just don't have a blue hitter. He's okay. The costume, I think, is better. I think the ailment he gets is like a mana generation down or something like that. Not as bad as defense down. But he just got outclassed. And let's see, Rana at the 75% decrease for healing for 2 turns is not bad if you're careful and smart about how you use that and when you use that, and you're lucky to have this special timed out just right. Sand damage is pretty low, and overall damage is pretty low. So without costume, I can't really be that excited about her. Victor, very fast, but only 250% damage to 1. And then damage over time over 5 turns. Steals healing. Everybody gets defense. There's a lot of lines here, but he's still just not a great hero. You probably have a stronger purple hero. So, I don't know. Again, if you've been at this game for a while, you're probably not that excited. If you're newer to the game, don't have that developed a roster, make a strong choice here. I'm curious who you're leaning towards. I think my choice for right now is, and knowing that I'll probably be able to get a couple of these heroes and maybe grab one of these revivers at some point, my choice will be Guardian Panther, at least for my Purple Titan team. Don't have the costume, but that 54% defense down against Dark is pretty nice. And if she levels all the way up, She'll hit a lot harder than Sergey does right now. So that is my choice, everybody. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk to you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bam.